The CEO of St John Ambulance, Peter Bradley, says he's been on a road trip meeting more than 1,000 ambulance staff and he's committed to giving them more resources and more money. It comes after today's announcement of short-term funding relief from the government to the tune of $21 million over 2 years. But paramedics say they're disappointed they won't get any of it. While Peter Bradley says he's happy that the government is finally agreeing to review the funding model, many workers and union members say he's totally disregarded their concerns over pay and conditions. Our reporter Alex Perrottet sat down with him a short time ago and asked why the cash injection is being put into building repairs and recruitment in Auckland.
No decision's been finally made on what will happen to the money. We only found out the amount this week, so clearly we have to talk to our board and executive, but we have to move out of the building we're in now. Our control room is a risk. It's a hazard. It's on our risk register, so this is our busiest control room in New Zealand, so we have to move out. So that's got to happen, come what may. So this, and given the nature of this funding, which is one-off, some of this money will lend itself to moving into out of the control room.
But is that a greater risk than the risk that we've heard about staff as well as patients who are treated maybe at their homes or other places in public? We've been hearing superlatives one after the other. I've got we're buggered, we're stuffed, we're at breaking point. We have cities like Hamilton left with one ambulance for hours over a night if there's a purple call out in a regional place like Raglan. Why is that not a more important risk?
Well, both are risks, I suppose. It depends on what we're talking about here. We have to be clear that we've got a national contract to deliver emergency ambulance services with the ACC and MOH. That requires us to hit response time targets. We hit those targets. If the government wants to invest more in our staff and set the targets at a different level, then of course we can put more staff on the road. Of course, we have already put additional staff in Christchurch in February without any money for that. And some of this money that we've just been given will be used to put additional staff. And the final decision on where they will go has yet to be made, but some in Auckland.
That's staff in Auckland, of course.
Not just Auckland. Yeah.
Not just Auckland?
No, decision. Okay. Yeah, we do a resourcing plan each year and say where do we need additional staff, and so a decision will be made in the next few weeks about where those staff should be.
And that will relieve stretched staff because they can take breaks and you can replace them with other staff. That's obviously going to help. But what they have been arguing is that we need better pay, better conditions. Yeah. Some staff paid under $20 an hour for the amazing work that they do. They say that you told them in a meeting that you haven't asked for all the funding that's needed. At times you've been concerned about your own job progression and job prospects. Is that true?
My own job? No, well, I'm the chief executive, so there's nowhere else for me to go beyond the job I'm in. So it doesn't affect my job at all. I think when I was asked some months ago, this was about 9 months ago now, had I lobbied hard for additional pay beyond the normal inflationary levels for our staff? The answer was no at that time. Since then, of course, we've put a budget bid into the government for what will be around $400 million over 4 years. So part of that, it does include a workforce review. I want to pay my staff more. We will pay our staff more. And this workforce review will result in a significant uplift for our staff.
But you're only asking for 95% funding. Some paramedics say even with 100% that won't work. You're running a deficit last year of $13.5 million. Why aren't you asking for at least 100% funding?
Well, it's complicated. It's a complicated story, to be honest, because actually the funding we have to find currently is around $60 million a year. We're asking for $100 million a year. So that's the more important number. At the end of all this, we will be fully funded. 95% from the core contracts, and then the other 5% made up from other contracts we have with other government departments. So in essence, this will make us fully funded. But I think it's important to remember what we're focusing on is the fact that we've asked for up to $400 million over 4 years. We've been given today $21 million over 2 years, non-recurrent, one-off funding. So our focus is not on the 21. That's a sideshow. The real issue is getting full funding. And I believe the government today has signalled its intention to address that long-standing issue once and for all. So that's what I'm pleased about.
It is a long-standing issue. Yep. It's been going on for a long time. Yep. Why, I mean, you can't be happy, surely, with them kicking the can down the road saying we'll have more conversations about this and we're going to have more discussions about it. A big announcement today, surely you feel a little underwhelmed.
I did have mixed feelings, I have to say. And like I say, I'm less focused on the 21 million because that's not going to solve the problems. I'm absolutely focused on the commitment that's been made today for the first time ever that they're going to sort this out once and for all. And Winston Peters said that we will not renege on this deal. We will sort it out once and for all. So that's what our focus now is. And I'm absolutely committed to ensuring that in 2020, St John and Wellington Free, jointly working together, will secure the funding we need and deserve to run our services effectively.
When do you want to hear confirmation from the government about this?
Well, I think what I'm really pleased about is they've announced a review and a report. They've announced a financial review of St John, which I think is appropriate. They would want to do that anyway to make sure that they're satisfied that putting the additional 400 million into St John is the right thing to do. That will be completed by September. That's great, this year. They've announced a report into what does the future of the ambulance service look like in New Zealand. That will be completed for Cabinet by December. So I think the fact they're doing 2 quick pieces of work in 6 months, report back to Cabinet, signals their intent to do something in 2020 in their budget announcement. So we'll be working really hard to get those pieces of work completed with the Ministry of Health and then look forward to a big announcement next year.
St John Ambulance CEO Peter Bradley talking to Alex Perrottet.